Okay, let's go ahead and go through the solution to the Lesson 2 homework question 3. Again, we have on January 1st, 18, big company started acquiring little company stock. All acquisitions were made at underlying book value. Little company had 1 million shares of stock outstanding. Big company made the following acquisitions, initially recorded using the cost method. So January 1st, 18, they bought 50,000 shares for $100,000. On January 1st, 19, they bought 100,000 shares for $410,000. On January 1st, 2020, they bought 100,000 shares for $425,000. End of year market values, end of 2018, market value $4.10 per share. End of 2019, market value per share $4.25. With the purchase on January 1st, 2020, big changes to the equity method of accounting for their investment. Little company reported the following income and paid the following dividends in each year. So here I have income and dividends for 2018, 2019, and 2020. Required, record all relevant entries to account for this investment from January 1st, 18 through 12/31/20. So let's go ahead and do 2018 first. And three things we have to do. First, we're going to have our acquisition at a total cost of $100,000. And we're going to write a check for that amount. Next, we're going to receive some dividends. And again, how much of the stock do we own at this point? Well, we own 50,000 shares out of the million shares. You don't really need a spreadsheet to do this. That's 5%. So we're going to get 5% of the $100,000, or $5,000. And under the cost method, that's going to be investment income or dividend income or something to that effect. And then finally, let me move these over. Excuse me. Finally, at the end of the year, we need to do our cost versus market value comparison. So at the end of 2018, let's get this, let's put this over here. Cost, market. The cost of our investment is $100,000. The market value, we have 50,000 shares, which are now worth $4.10 each. So market value is $205,000. So the necessary market adjustment balance is going to be $105,000, and that's a debit. The existing balance, let me go ahead and format this nice and neat. Alignment, wrap text. Okay, so our market adjustment, the desired balance is $105,000 debit. The existing balance is 0. So the change, we're going to need to record that $105,000 debit balance. So we're going to go ahead and debit the market adjustment for $105,000, and that's going to be an unrealized gain. Okay, 2019, same drill. Oh, goodness. Okay, I just realized what the problem was here. The initial cost was $200,000, not $100,000, and that throws everything off. So actually, using a spreadsheet, that all auto-corrected anyway. So again, our initial cost was $200,000, so the cost of our portfolio was $200,000. Requiring a $5,000 debit adjustment, which is a $5,000 change from the beginning of year 0 balance. Anyway, year 2, I'm just going to go ahead and copy those account titles. Second year's acquisition, we paid $410,000. Dividends for the second year, again, now we own 150,000 shares out of the 1 million, so, or 15%, excuse me, 15%. So we're going to get 15% of the 2019 dividends. And then finally, for our market adjustment, we're going to do the exact same thing we did before. We're going to take the cost of our portfolio. Just going to copy these down. The cost of our portfolio is now $610,000. The market value, again, we have 150,000 shares. Those 150,000 shares are now worth 4.25 each. So a market value of $637.5. So the market adjustment balance is $27,500. And again, we are writing our investment up from 610 up to 637. So that needs to be a debit balance. The existing balance is $5,000. That's the balance from last year. So the change, we need to go from a $5,000 debit balance to a $27,500 debit balance, an increase of $22,500. Okay, 2020. And again, I'm going to go ahead and copy some of this stuff down. I'll copy the first one at least. We make our third acquisition, this time at a cost of $425,000. And now we need to switch to the equity method. And there are two things we need to do to switch to the equity method. As of right now, we have accumulated other comprehensive income of $27,500 of unrealized gains. We are going to remove those unrealized gains and replace them with a realized gain. So we're going to go ahead and debit unrealized gain. And make that a gain. Okay, that was easy enough. The second thing we need to do is on our balance sheet, directly below the investment in little account, there's this market adjustment. This market adjustment has a balance of $27,500. We're going to go ahead and take that market adjustment and transfer that balance to the investment itself. So we credit market adjustment to get rid of that $27,500 balance, and that gets added to our investment in little. Okay, finally, now we can start using the equity method. We're going to receive our dividends. We now own 25% of little company stock. So we're going to get 25% of their 2020 dividends. Oops. And so that's going to reduce our investment. And when little company reports earnings of $400,000, again, we own 25% of their stock, so we get 25% of that income. So we're going to go ahead and increase our investment by our share, 25% of the reported earnings, and we report that as our investment income. Okay, as I've indicated before, the single most common place I see people make mistakes with these things is not realizing that the percentage ownership is cumulative. We went from being 5% owners to 15% owners to 25% owners. And secondly, that the market adjustment calculations, this cost versus market comparison, is based on the entire portfolio, not simply on what we acquired in that year. So in 2019, yes, we acquired 100,000 shares at a cost of $410,000 in 2019, but when we do the 2019 cost versus market comparison, we're comparing the cost of our total portfolio, the $200,000 we paid in 2018, plus the $410,000 we paid in 2019.